afternoon, and welcome to this episode of the Great L.M. Montgomery Baking Challenge. I'm Andrea Mackenzie, and I'm about to attempt making devil's food cake. So why am I choosing to make cake? Well, it seems to have loomed largely both in Montgomery's fiction and in her real life. On one occasion, when she was asked to give the toast to Prince Edward Island at an official government dinner, here's part of her speech. She said, "It is a land where you can still find real grandmothers and genuine old maid aunts. A land where it is still held to be a great feather in a family's cap if it has a minister among its boys. A land that has a trick of raising university presidents and international ambassadors for export. A land where the 10 Commandments are still considered fairly up to date. But a land where it would be safer to smash all those commandments at once than to be caught without 3 kinds of cake when company comes to tea." And why did I choose devil's food cake? That would be because Emily Bird Starr is one of my favorite Montgomery heroines, and noticeably, like Montgomery herself, not only is she an author, but she is also notable in the kitchen. And one day in Emily Climbs, she comments that Aunt Laura is teaching me how to make a certain rich and complicated kind of chocolate cake after a recipe which a friend of hers in Virginia sent her 30 years ago. Nobody in Blairwater has ever been able to get it, and Aunt Laura made me solemnly promise I would never reveal it. The real name of the cake is devil's food, but Aunt Elizabeth will not have it called that. Now, I wanted to use the family cookbook from 1923, my grandmother's cookbook, to be authentic. Now, chocolate was a luxury ingredient back then, so there are 2 recipes for chocolate cake in the book. And one, interestingly enough, is called Purity Devil's Cake. Sinfully rich and luxurious. The problem is that there is absolutely no baking instructions included at all. There's no pan size, there's not even instructions for a slow, moderate, or hot fire, etc., etc. So I turned instead to Jim Foble's old-fashioned baking book. One of my favorite cookbooks. Jim Foble was a fabulous cookbook author and a fabulous baker. His recipe for devil's food cake comes out wonderfully chocolatey and light, and I'm going to attempt to make chocolate fudge frosting along with it. So here we go. I hope you'll join me again as I set to make this cake. Here are the ingredients for the cake. We've grouped them in 3 according to the steps that you have to do. So you find cocoa and boiling water in the first step, the dry ingredients in the second, and everything else you have to beat together in the third. This is so stressful. You know, I feel like I'm on the Great British Baking Show or the Great Canadian Baking Show or something. I mean, Ro, I'm sitting in front of the oven going, rise, rise. I can't take the pressure. I'm going to crack. Cheers. So the cakes have been in for 25 minutes. Yay! Woo! They rose. Not sure if they're done yet. Jim Fogel says when you test them, there should be a crumb or two still clinging to the toothpick. Yay! They are done. Yay! It worked! We hope. We really hope. Jim Fogel's Grandma's Fudge Frosting. This is decadent. Done. And this, as you can see, is a beautiful spreadable consistency. And now we're ready to ice. Now, I'm no Great Canadian Baking Show on elegant icing, etc., etc. So I'm just going to dump this on, spread it around. I don't do things like trim the cake and so on and so forth because every crumb to me is precious. And we're going to speed up this portion. How does that look? And here we are. Devil's food cake. No, we can't call it that. Chocolate cake. So, Ro, would you like a large piece or a small one?
Half of it.
No, I think not. So you want a large slice, do you? One. well. All right, there's one for you. And we are ready to eat cake. Oh, that is magic. I feel worthy of Emily and Aunt Elizabeth. What a feeling! That is marvelous! Devil's food cake. And I don't care what Aunt Elizabeth wants us to call it.